The sun came out. Oh my God. Hey y'all, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to chat today about some of the best advice that I've ever received in my life. Everything that I'm gonna share in this video, these are nuggets of wisdom that I genuinely turn to on a day-to-day basis and that I feel like will enhance your life. So hopefully this will offer a lot of value. All right, let's jump right into it. My first and maybe most important piece of advice is to trust your life. Trust that things are going to work out, and trust that what's for you, what's meant for you, will never, ever pass you. This is probably one of the most powerful pieces of advice that my mom and my grandparents on my mom's side gave me growing up, because it taught me to shift my mindset such that I trust that the universe will always provide for me what it is that I need. Even when things feel uncertain and scary, having that mindset that what is needed will manifest itself is so powerful. And obviously I'm not saying like, don't work and or don't go to school or don't go to your job, like everything's just gonna fall into your lap. That's not what I mean. I think what I mean is listen to what the universe is telling you and trust that your life is gonna guide you in the best possible direction. You just have to be willing to commit yourself to a mindset that's gonna set you up for that kind of success. Develop a grounding practice that feels good. Maybe that is something spiritual, maybe that's something religious, maybe that's simply something like more scientific, like you want to sit down and meditate every day and do deep breathing because it's good for your like parasympathetic system, whatever that looks like for you. Choose it and do it. For me, that looks like practicing Judaism, and that looks like practicing Buddhism and meditating. And those things are very powerful and grounding for me. Having a grounding practice that allows you to think of and imagine the world beyond yourself and your personal concerns is really important. I think really what I mean by a grounding practice is something that reminds you that you are on a planet, that you are a part of a species, you are living in an ecosystem, and that means that it constitutes more than just you. That means that there are so many moving components that make the present moment possible to begin with. And what would it mean to think about those things? What would it mean to tap into those things and take them seriously and care for them and not be so wrapped up in the minutia of your own life that you can't appreciate what's beyond you? And that's easier said than done in a capitalistic society where in many ways we're encouraged to be hyper-focused on the individual self. But tapping into community in that way, going to community events, having religious practices, having spiritual practices, having daily personal practices, reading literature, whatever that looks like for you. I think it's important to build it in. Has a big impact. Definitely has on me. Invest in yourself. I can respect deeply the impulse towards being frugal. I definitely have that within me myself. I think especially those of us who grow up coming from humble means, it's seductive to lean into penny pinching and not making any investments beyond what is absolutely crucial. But sometimes in order to take your life to the next level, take your business to the next level, you have to be willing to make strategic investments. Point in case, this camera that I'm filming on is new. It was quite expensive. Okay, more money than I've ever spent on a camera in my whole life. But I trust that I have the capacity and what it takes to be a creator and to have a serious positive impact on the people who arrive at my pages. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make an investment in myself. And the good news, this is maybe more of an adult slight tangent, but the good news about an investment like this is oftentimes you can write these things off on your taxes, so that takes a chunk out of your taxable income. So don't be afraid to make investments in yourself. I'm not telling you to go drain your savings account tomorrow and buy all the things that you need. Still be thoughtful with your money, of course, always, but be willing to make those moves sometimes because they're really necessary to propel you to a different place. Keep information close to your chest, but strategically share it with those who are in your corner. So I think this is really important because a lot of times when I watch, advice videos, you hear people saying like, don't tell people what you're up to, just do it. And I don't disagree with that. I do think there's something to be said for sharing your dreams with too many people, because not everyone has your best interests at heart. And if you share your dreams with people who don't have your best interests at heart, they might put negative energy towards those dreams and disrupt like the manifesting that you're trying to do. So that kind of advice makes sense in a scenario if you don't have people in your life who genuinely care for and love you, who are ready to pour into you and put positive energy towards your dreams. But if you do have people like that in your life, I think it's worthwhile to open up, because what I've learned as I've made major moves in my life is that seeking the insight and wisdom of those who are older than me, those who've already walked the path that I'm just beginning my journey on, it allows me to avoid a lot of the pitfalls that other people stumble into because they're not seeking those insights. It's okay to share your dreams. You just have to be thoughtful about who you choose to share them with. Don't share your dreams with people who don't really love you. Share your dreams with people who are rooting for your success, genuinely. All the time, if I have things that I'm trying to make happen in my life, I will tell the people I love and be like, hey, can you please put good energy towards this? Can you please pray on this? Can you please chant about this? Whatever it is, because I have a whole multitude of people in my life with different relationships to religion and spirituality and such. And that feels good to me, to have that support and to have people in my corner who want to see me succeed. Save something every single month, even if it's literally $1. I got this advice from my grandpa when I was in high school, and it has served me very, very well. I don't think you have to be wealthy to save. Of course, I'm not talking about poverty level type of living where maybe you're truly living paycheck to paycheck. That's a different situation. I'm not going to tell you to save money. If you need every single cent that you have to survive each month, do what you got to do. But if you're in a situation where you do have a little bit left over and you can put some aside, don't just spend it. It's really important to build a muscle of saving early on, because if you get in the habit of spending everything as soon as it enters into your life, you're never gonna be able to accumulate money and accumulate wealth. Even as a 23-year-old, I'm thinking about the day that I retire and how much money I'm gonna need to have saved up in order to sustain myself. And if I begin a healthy habit now of putting a certain amount of money away every single month ritually, then I move myself closer to that goal every single day that passes. But if I don't build up that habit, then moving towards the goal of not having to work towards retirement becomes more difficult in the future. Of course, in addition to saving, you should also be investing and building your portfolio. So it's not that saving fixes everything, especially with the way inflation is going. You can't just save and expect your money to accrue the way that you want and need it to. But building a healthy habit of saving is crucial. Be kind to your money and your money will be kind to you. So my grandma, my Mima, taught me this lesson when I was in high school also. I remember one day I was over at my grandparents' house and I had my wallet open for some reason. I was fiddling around in it and my grandma could see that I had kind of like stuffed some money in there. And so she said to me, hey, like, that's not how you should be storing your money. You have to organize it, fold it out nicely. Don't just throw things in your bag or crumple the money up, and put it in your wallet nicely. And the theory behind this is if you pour the kind of love and energy and respect into your money and direct it towards your money, then hopefully that energy will reflect back onto you. It's kind of karmic in a way if you think about it. Obviously, a lot of us do our banking online nowadays. I know I certainly do, but money is still a thing, like physical money. Maybe this is total nonsense, but there's something about being intentional with the way that I handle my money, both when it comes to saving, but also when it comes to like the literal physical handling of my money, that feels significant. Speak abundance over your life. So many of us have negative self-talk built into our psyche that I don't even think we realize how much the way that we speak to ourselves impacts how we think about ourselves and how we move through the world. If every time you look in the mirror, you're saying mean and degrading things, that's no good, my friend. If every time you struggle, you think of yourself as a failure and you say horrible negative things about yourself, that's no good. Because when you speak to yourself in that way, you continue to generate that kind of energy in your life. What you speak into existence, the way that you speak over your life, those things manifest, they amplify, and they go beyond you. The kind of language that you use to speak about yourself and to speak over your life matters. If you're speaking negatively about yourself, you're going to continue a cycle of negativity. You're going to continue to manifest negativity. But if you speak abundance over your life, if you speak positivity over your life, if you speak possibility over your life, then that orients everything in such a different way. And what I'm suggesting is not a weird kind of toxic positivity, but rather it's Subtle reframing. So say you just got laid off from your job and you're really upset about it and you're like, well, you know what? Nothing ever goes right for me. Why would you speak that over your life? Why would you speak over your life that nothing ever goes right for you? Yes, you're in a tough spot, but there's an easy reframe to that. Instead of saying nothing ever goes right for me, you could say, okay, well, this wasn't for me, and so it has passed me, right? So going back to the idea of trusting your life, let me open myself up to the possibility of something else, and what's next will be even better, even more incredible, and I'm ready to lean into that. It's not to say you can't be sad, it's not to say you can't be angry or feel the whole range of emotions that make us sentient beings, but it's all about how you think about your life and the state of your life that impacts what is and isn't possible moving forward. Rituals are key. It's no secret that James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, is very, very popular, and this is definitely heavily impacting this particular point of advice. For a long time, I kind of would just wing it when I wake up in the morning. My routine would be different every single day, and I don't know that that necessarily served me. I was doing things like going on my phone first thing in the morning, spending an hour laying in bed, kind of putzing around, stuff like that, and I'd look up and it would be 11 and I just wasn't feeling that like energy to get me going through the day. But once I started building rituals and habits for me around my morning time routine, I realized that that impacted the rest of my day in such a profound way. So for example, every single morning I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I open the blinds, I give Kenji his morning hugs and kisses, he gets his breakfast, I clean the kitchen, then I chant, then I meditate, then I journal. After that, I make the bed, then I do some kind of movement for the day. If I feel like it that day, some days I don't. Then I shower and get all clean and spiffy and dressed for the day, and then I sit down and start my day. And having that routine in place, it sounds like a lot, but I can run through that pretty quickly. Maybe like, okay, pretty quickly for me. I like to take my time, like an hour and a half or so. But it just sets me up for success. And that's really what it's all about. Creating systems in your life that are going to set you up for success so you can show up as the best, most incredible version of yourself every single day. And not even necessarily in terms of productivity, like simply for you. So you could be like the most full, happy version of you. Your intuition is powerful. Listen to it. I cannot tell you how many times in my life my intuition was telling me to avoid a situation and I didn't listen to it and I got screwed in the end. But if I had listened to my intuition, I could have avoided a whole lot of drama. So when your gut is telling you something is amiss, when your gut is telling you something is wrong, listen to that. Listen. Because what happens when you ignore your intuition is you find yourself in bad situations. And I do think sometimes we all have to learn the hard way. I learned this lesson because I didn't listen to my intuition on multiple accounts. And I realized that I really do have to be able to like trust my gut and trust that when my heart, my gut, my body is moving against something, is telling me that something's not right for me, I need to honor that, because if I don't, I'm gonna get hurt. Okay, y'all, that's all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.